Ahoy there, trader, and welcome back. This is the Anti-Investor Swing Trading Podcast. Let's talk about the fantasy and fallacy of overnight riches. Now, overnight successes don't typically happen overnight. It has become and is a well-known joke that overnight success can be 10 years in the making. For myself, I was about 3 years in my book learning phase, but then I do consider myself a special case. I was hand-drawing charts and effectively paper trading from the early age of 15. It never even occurred to me to ask a parent to open an account for me like so many of the new breed of up-and-coming trading stars. Anyway, while some people quite literally hit the ground running, the reality is that's not the norm. In fact, it's often more common for people to be overconfident and think that this trading lark is easy, and then sink their life savings into the markets only to watch it blow up in smoke. Now, despite that, there is a proven pathway to seeing success and keeping successful over the long term, so let's explore that today. Hi, welcome to the Anti-Investor Swing Trading Podcast, where we talk about swing trading stocks, stock options, and index futures, and maybe the occasional day trade or two. Now, my goal is to give you the right tools, the correct rules, the software to assist you, a community to support you, and if you will allow me to be a mentor to show you the right way so that you get real results now in the fastest and smartest possible way. Now, the allure of riches and easy money from the markets is super attractive. It's what got me started, and it's what probably gets most people started. I was told by a neighbour way back in the early 90s that anyone can play this game. You don't need to know someone or have a secret handshake to give you a leg up. If you have the money, you can quite literally play the stock market game. And that's what I did. 3 days after my 18th birthday, I bought my first shares in a UK leisure company called Waterfall Holdings for 54 bright and shiny pennies of my hard-earned cash. And after that, I don't think I really slept properly for the next 8 months, and despite the emotional rollercoaster, I exited for 109% returns. And I got lucky, and I knew it. So I set about finding my way, a system that worked for me and suited the way that I wanted to play the markets. And fast forward nearly 30 years, here are some of the lessons that I've learned that could have sped up my own journey had I applied these lessons a lot sooner. Now, all of the following assumes that you have a system that you can tap into, and if you need some help with yours, then shoot me a message and we can certainly set you on the right path. Now, the first thing to consider is essentially a learning phase or developing a habit phase. There's a 30, 60 and 90 day period where we learn, refine and create a new habit. So the first 30 days you're learning a process. And for some people it may take longer, it may be faster, it depends on the individual, but broadly speaking this is quite commonly accepted that you have a 30-day learning phase, a 60-day refining phase, and a 90-day to create a new habit. So in that first quarter essentially, which is what I work with all my students, we're basically doing that, learning, refining and creating new habits. And what we're trying to do is we're practicing enough until you get it right. Now, there's a huge difference between learning to get it right and mastering to not be wrong, but we've got to learn to get it right first. And I'm not a huge believer in this 10,000 hours nonsense. Tap into someone else's 10,000 hours. I wish I'd done that early. I didn't know that there was other people way back when I first started out. And obviously, the internet has made it easier to access other people's skill sets. So tap into someone else's 10,000 hours and learn in the fastest and smartest possible way. If you're doing it yourself, most people, including me, I had to unlearn lots of things, but most people become experts at bad habits. And for my own development, I went down the route of how do I not do that again? I came across experiences and things that I didn't like. Not necessarily losing money, but just breaking my rules, bending my rules, or what were my rules back then. And what I ended up doing was essentially going down the route of how do I not experience that again? How can I put a rule in place so that I don't break my other rule? And it was a silly kind of thing to do, but that was essentially what I was doing. I was developing a bad habit and creating rules to prevent me from doing the bad habit. So it really hindered my own development. So the 10,000 hours is nonsense. Tap into someone else's 10,000 hours and speed up your learning curve. So basically in those first stages, you're practicing so that you get it right most of the time and working on following a process and eliminating those mistakes. Now, once you're through that, you can start developing essentially a lifestyle phase. And this can take 16 to 18 months to develop a lifestyle. And what I mean by that is you're integrating this now process that you've got into your day-to-day routine. Developing what pilots would essentially call a pre-flight, or in our case, a pre-trade checklist to find, filter and sort the best opportunities and manage existing ones. And the way that I've got mine set up is I should be able to do this in 10 to 20 minutes a day. And if there's nothing to do, I'll recognize that quite quickly. And it could be, my daily routine could be 2 to 3 minutes. Now, in fairness, it can go the other extreme. If it turns out there's lots to do, I could take 60 to 90 minutes, but it shouldn't take any longer than that because I've got a process, a system that allows me to streamline the best opportunities for the day and the week. Now, what we're doing in this phase is you're now practicing to the point where you can't get it wrong. We're becoming an expert at our chosen specialized subject, your strategy in this case. Now, next, we're going to a couple of years down the line, you're going to have an identity shift. And this can take 3 or 4 years where trading it's like breathing. It's something you do. It's a part of your life. And it's an it's an unconscious competence. So when you're learning stuff and you're learning a process, and in the first 2 phases, you're very consciously doing things. And then at some point, you are unconsciously doing those same things because you've integrated them so much into your own lifestyle, and your understanding of that process is granular. You've got it to such a point where it's a part of who you are and part of your being, and you develop this identity as well. Part of your identity is you are the trader that you always wanted to be. You're basically becoming a world-class trader. Now, most traders practice and master bad habits. We've already mentioned this, but outdated and unproven methods that don't work, that have been on some forum or that were in a textbook from 50 years ago. And, a big part of what we do as traders, or certainly in the early part of your trader development, is trying to find what works for you. It's not that there's many ways for us to trade or invest, for that matter. I prefer to consider myself a trader. I basically want to get paid at the end of the day, the week, or the month. So I'm a short-term trader to capture the main swing of the day, the week, or the month. That's pretty much how I identify. I'm not an investor in that regard. But despite that, most people will pick up systems and processes that don't resonate with them. Like, for example, I don't want to be an investor. I don't want to follow the Warren Buffett way of doing things. I don't want to spend years waiting for an investment idea to unfold for me. That's not what I want. That's what I mean by trying to find your way, your system, your process. If you've got a proven process, it should make money. It should make money. There's lots of systems out there that make money. So back into what you want as a trader, and then you can start to layer on this development cycle that will speed up your learning curve and develop good habits, good systems, good procedures. Again, taking it the other way, if you don't have, some of what I do is day trading. Now, I've got the luxury of time. I can day trade, but I can quite literally just day trade at the opening bell. So I'm only doing it for 20 to 30 minutes a day or every other day, 2 or 3 times a week. But if you don't have time to day trade, then there's little point in you learning how to day trade, no matter how mechanical, no matter how profitable that system is. If you can't physically apply a rule-based system to day trade, then there's no point you learning how to day trade. It's just not in your available time to trade. So does that make sense? Just give that some thoughts. So we want to try and figure out where on the spectrum, what time do you have available to trade? And then that's going to allow you the opportunity to, this group of strategies is not for me. I don't have time to do them. Or maybe you don't want to do them. For many years, I didn't want to day trade. I started out day trading. I just didn't want to do it. So it's not a case of, do you have time to? If you don't want to do it, that's fine as well. I don't want to invest, so I don't do it. It's not that it doesn't work. It's just, I don't want to wait 5 years for a trade idea to work out. So figure out what you want. Back into it with your availability. Imagine that you're successful at trading. Imagine that you're already successful at the act of doing it. Like, what does that entail? Is it 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes a week? Is it an hour a day? Is it 3 hours a day? And then you can start to construct your or find the right strategy so that you can start to develop the habit phase, the learn, the refine, the create a habit. You can start unfolding into a lifestyle phase, and then you can look towards that identity shift that allows you a proven roadmap to apply your chosen methodology of trading to work for you in your specific and very unique situation. So you want to plug into a tried and tested system that is suitable and relevant to your situation and your lifestyle, and then you can start to apply these 3 phases: learn, refine, create new habits, integrate it into your lifestyle, and then transition into being a long-term world-class trader. But you've got to start with the right process. You've got to learn it, refine it, create a habit, build on that foundation, and then you can start to see the long-term successes that many traders have and many of my students see. And to be fair, if you need some help with your process, shoot me a message. I'll always point you off in the right direction. I'm not naive enough to think that my way is the only way and is the right way, but nonetheless, it's always nice to have someone to ask that is a little bit further ahead of the game than you are. I'll always point traders off in the right direction, and if what I do is right for you, then that's fine as well. We can have a longer conversation about that if it's relevant for you. So if you like what you've heard here today, be sure to follow and listen to the very first episode where I map out the first of my 6 most profitable money-making strategies, and you can basically have that one for free. So that's all for today. Thank you for giving me your time and attention and making me a part of your regular routine, and have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you at the same time next time. Bye for now. Keep in mind that futures, options on futures, stocks and stock option trading involves a degree of risk that may not be suitable for all investors. Past performance is no guarantee of future performance. Anti-Investor provides educational information and does not provide financial advice.